Photoshop 2021 has got a new feature that's tucked away in the edit menu, sky replacement. So you've got an image like this with a lot of sky. Now, of course, you don't have to use this with skies. You could use it with any kind of image, but it works obviously best and more sensibly with a lovely sky. But of course, you could have like any kind of design at the back and try it with that. Experiment. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't work with selections. Now I've got a selection here. If I create a selection and then apply it, doesn't work that way. It works on the whole of the image. Now, of course, a workaround would be to select that design and then use it individually in different images. However, let's get to the actual edit command. Edit and sky replacement. So edit and sky replacement. Now this one is one of my ones, this sky. So it's pretty garish because you can import your own. So I'm just going to go back to one of the traditional standard ones that's included. And you got that one. You got a variety of different options. You got blue skies, spectacular, and sunsets. Personally, I don't think they're particularly spectacular. Though the rainbow is quite nice. So you can add a quick rainbow to your design. And you can scale it. So I'm just going to pick one of the skies. Let's just go for one. Just one of those. And you've got a sky there. What you can do, you've got a range of it. Now you can also use a brush, but I'm not going to do that in this tutorial. That'd be for another tutorial. You can zoom into it. So you can zoom like that. Just gives it, and you can move it around. You can also move the image behind it. Personally, I don't think that really is much use, but I guess if you've got a very large image, you can move it around because you might have a very large sky. You can move it and position it in the way that you want. So there is some use for that. You've got a whole range of different skies here, like say spectacular, blue skies, etc. No alien worlds, no night skies, no really beautiful desert ones, no ones with the sun in, all those sort of things. Personally, I'm surprised they haven't added those. Maybe that's for a few. Also, it'd be nice if they added some objects like moons and things and stars you could put into the background. That would be a nice feature. However, this feature, Shift Edge, what you can do, personally, keep it at default. At default works, but it depends on the image. If you've got a nice, good, strong image like this, you've got this, so you can see the cloud there. It really, if you look up close, I think that looks really good for my eyes. Maybe for a professional photographer, they might go, oh, that's terrible. I don't know. But personally, looks fine. And you can always, of course, once you've applied your effect, you can always do what I normally do, which is apply other filter effects. So by the time you wouldn't be able to tell. So go for fade edge. Now, personally, that's, I think, worse. So I think I'll keep it 100%. And brightness. Obviously makes it brighter, makes it darker. Personally, when it gets darker, I think it looks a bit worse around the edges of the trees there. So personally, just going to keep it at there. And then you really can't, very hard to see that slight edging around that. You can flip. It just flips it, obviously, horizontally. Doesn't do it vertically. That would be really weird. Could do it. And you've got scale, so you can zoom in. Now you can scale only so far, because if you scale too far, that way you end up with the edges, which is not much use. Looks a bit odd as a sky. But of course you've got other things. I'm just going to close that. You've got foreground. You can change multiply. You've got screen, and that, which is nice, makes it slightly brighter. Personally, multiply. Makes it slightly darker maybe. Each their own, what they want. Lighting adjustment, it's very subtle. These are very subtle changes. Colour adjustment, again, very, very subtle changes. Make it slightly brighter, darker. But it's a useful feature if you want to just tweak it. So you've got this design like that. What you can do, you've got option here, new layers, that's the default, and duplicate layer. Now duplicate layer, I will quickly show you. First thing, what it does, it just creates the design. You've got the new one, and you've got the old one. So obviously the old ones. And it's handy to have the old one there, because of course what you can do, you can always go and add another sky, maybe use blending modes, or you could go and say go blur, Gaussian blur, and that's the background layer. And then of course you can then go to normal and darken, and you can create some interesting, unusual effects using that, if that's what you want to do. However, sky replacement, I'm just going back and edit and sky replacement. And what you can do then, you can go down here to, it does take a bit of time to process to bring the image up. You go down to new layers, that's the default. And what does that do? That creates it, splits it apart, which is quite useful because you can go click OK there, and it doesn't look like anything different personally. However, go to layers, that's window and layers, and you've got this here. You've got the foreground lighting, which you may want to tweak and change. You've got the foreground color. You can modify that if you want, so it's just the properties there. And you can add others, of course. You can add other adjustments as well. So you can see you can tweak that. And you can also, what you do, just group the whole lot into layer, into a smart object, convert to a smart object. The whole thing becomes a smart object, if that's what you want to do. Undo. Select all, you can select all of it. Actually, obviously I just did that, but you could also select the whole thing and then turn that into a smart object and then use that, obviously, combined. That's another option. What you can also do, you can go to that here and turn that into a smart object, just that, and go to layer, smart objects, convert to smart object, and then you can recolor it. So image, adjustments, hue and saturation, make a very unusual red saturated sky. So you could make a red sky in the morning, definitely Shepherd's Warning. I think if you came out the sky and it looked like that, you'd be thinking you're in a horror film. Personally, I don't think I would want that sky. So just get rid of that one. So filter, and of course you can also apply filter effects. Gaussian blur, you can blur it. So you can make a slightly blurry sky in the background. And you can tweak it in numerous other ways. So there's a load of options if you turn it into a smart object. And of course what you can do, you can also go there and you've got blending modes. So you can always say darken or overlay and just create other colour effects if that's what you want. Now, what you can also do, I'm just going to go back now to that, and again, edit and sky replacement. You can add your own skies to it. That's really useful. You can also add new groups as well. So I'm just going to go up here. So you've got these different designs, but you've got here, you can go down, and I'm going to create a new group at this point. So just go here, there's a group option here, create new group, my clouds. Obviously they're not my clouds. My cloud photos. So you've got your design there, and you can move them around. So if you want that spectacular below, it's just exactly the same as like brushes, patterns. You can move things around, group them, put them into different sections if you want to do that. You can add lots and lots of presets to this. There's also some options in this top right. You've got new sky. So if you go like new sky, and that will obviously you can add to this. You can select it that way. So you can select, and I'm just going to go file, or you can go down to the bottom and just add there. Most time I must admit I use that, but you can use that option. Now there's import skies and exports. That's a particular format. So they're not the PNG files or pen default skies, etc. That's Photoshop sky format. So if you try export selected skies, and it will save it to an SKY, sky format. Obviously a new format, sky. And you add it to skies folder by default. So click there, plus, and I'm going to go for another. And now I've got this one, a very garish sky that I created earlier. So open, it's PSD format. It could be JPEG, could be anything. And that's going to be added, obviously in this case, to down there in the spectacular. I've got another folder, but you can move them around. So if you just, I want that one up there, move it up there, or move it into that one. You move it around. Don't have to save it to a particular and then keep it there forever. So you've got that design there. You can delete as well. So if you want to go to that one, you can always go down there and delete. And you also can zoom in a bit more. Personally, just as easy having it like that, so you can see them a bit better. But you can, if you want, have it like that. So you've got your garish sky there, and you can then tweak that. Again, lighting adjustments if you want to tweak. And click OK. And there you have it. And of course, again, like I said, you've got the option just to make that more garish by going to, just going to turn that into a layer, smart objects, convert to a smart object, and then a layer, adjustments, and maybe go for color lookup. And then you can add different color lookups. Or you could just go there and go to layer and new adjustment and go down to color lookups there. And then of course that will be applied to the whole image. And you can go for blue tone or grey tone or bleach, etc. So you can create some very unusual sky effects for your image if that's what you want. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. Always adding new tutorials, so please subscribe to the Graphic Extras channel. Always adding new ones, like I say, Photoshop, Photoshop Elements, PaintShop Pro, Painter, Illustrator, Creative Cloud, Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer, trying to think of some, Krita, and those sorts of things. Any comments? Please let me know. It's always great to, what have I done wrong? What have I done right? What else would you like to know about this? And also a dislike or like. Thank you much.